financing your next billion gain insights into successful engagements with venture capitalists and investors. Get ahead of industry trends, hear from industry leaders, influencers, founders, policymakers, and governments. Stay in the know on how to finance your next billion.
Well, hello and good day to everyone. Thank you so much for joining Financing Your Next Billion Talks. And I'm Yvonne Gamble, and I'm here with my co-host Jerome Curry. And we've got another great show for you. We're going to be talking about some of the new social trends and platforms in 2021. We saw a lot of changes come in 2020, and we're going to be talking about them and how they're going to affect us and what they're going to do for life, how it's going to change. Good morning to you, Jerome. How is it going with you?
Oh, Yvonne, it goes well. It goes really, really well. And great topic that we have today. A lot of change always going on. There's always change going on, always new trends, and always to keep yourself abreast of everything that's going on. So that's something that's going to be really, really important to do. And what I can do is go ahead and kick off our exciting topic that we have for today. And our exciting topic for today is talking about some of the latest trends in social media. And why are we talking about it? Well, to be honest with you, social media has went from being a could-have strategy to being a must-have strategy. And the reason why is we'll talk about some of those reasons as we go through this, and we'll also talk about some of the trends. But one of the reasons why is because people are, again, looking for some type of connection. They're looking for old memories. I think Yvonne, you've got some good friends in Chicago, and your spouse has some good friends in Chicago, and everyone gets a chance to get up and meet. One of those avenues that you get an opportunity to do that through is through Facebook and some of the other types of communities. So that's very, very important. Yvonne, one of the things that I'll share with you, those communities are fun, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're a lot of fun. You learn a lot, and then just the keeping in touch. You touched on some good points there. The keeping in touch. There's a lot of outreach that would not take place, and I think we are now really beginning to appreciate the gravity of it. We were just on a call. You mentioned, Fred and myself. We were just on a call with his grandmother's. Some relatives on her side down in Alabama, and one of the ladies was having a 79th birthday party. So they did it on Zoom. And just wow. So everyone around the country, were able to join in and to wish her happy birthday. Now, if you think about this in the traditional sense, it would only really have been the people who were in Alabama and maybe, a few people who came up from close proximity who would have celebrated, but she got to see, children and grandchildren, who were out in California, who were, in Chicago, up in the Northeast, across the South, that she wouldn't have. So you're absolutely right. Especially on a personal level, we'll be talking more here about the business, but from a personal perspective, you're spot on that it truly has changed the way we live and the way we do things.
And Yvonne, I'll take the point from right there. I think now we're looking at a scenario where business is becoming more personal. And that's why we'll talk about these micro communities, because now people want interaction. Gone are the days where you can be a cold corporate shoulder that just shovels out cash and says, hey, here's our products. Good luck. We don't call us, we'll call you. those those days are gone. There is a new term in town, and it's called ESG. And you companies at the highest echelon of conglomerates and corporations are all into the ESG. Well, why is this important? Well, because a lot of this is because people want to do business more personally. They want more of a personal touch. That's why having a micro community will give you an inside review of what's going on inside of your product. Being able to have conversations with real people and having them give you real-time feedback and say, listen, you know what, this didn't work and I'm pretty upset about it. So, yeah, it was free, but it really didn't work. It really didn't hit our expectations. Well, that's really good feedback for you, because guess what? You can take that feedback now and go back and rework your product or revamp your idea or do another iteration that solves some of the issues that you see inside of your micro community. So you can create these micro communities inside of LinkedIn, inside of Facebook. There's so many different ways that you can create these small communities, and also, and not in addition to creating the small communities, you also want to become a part of these communities as a value-added contributor. And I want to say that, I want to make sure I underline that, Yvonne, because I see a lot of groups where people really aren't value-added contributors. They're really just there to kind of take something from the group. And I want to get something from you. And I want, this is about my business. It's about my idea. And it's not about the wholeness of that group. And I think a lot of times that's what startups do. They do their research in groups where their voice is the loudest one and what they say goes. And so your group or your community isn't effective because you're not in it to provide value. You're in it to extract value. And one of the things that you have to be when you're starting your business, you have to be a value-added contributor. And that starts with those communities that you create, those micro communities, and the communities you're in part of. Choosing to be an influencer, that can make a huge difference there. Yvonne, anything that you may want to say on that, or any thoughts about those pieces?
Yes. One of the primary benefits of a micro community is to take a page out of the advertiser's book, those main advertisers. One of the things that they do, and they do well, advertising and research, and that is focus groups. And in these focus groups, what they basically do, that groups becomes the authority in that group. So if they're trying to launch a new product or a new service, they simply put the product on the table in front of a group of people and give them a couple of sheets of paper. Put them in a room, and they're taping the room. And they're waiting to hear, and they say, well, we want to know your opinion. What do you think? Is this easy to use? Is this something that you would use? You have communities where we call them, I was in advertising, and they call them like just old towns. And with that, basically what they would do is when they were trying to introduce new technologies onto the marketplace, they might bring something in. Like you see something, as simple as, well, what we might consider simple as this phone and how it gets designed. And you know what I'm saying? And what it happens. This is a case around this phone, even down to how this case would be designed and how easy it is to take this case out of here. This was determined not by the manufacturer, but this was determined by the focus group, where the focus group looked at it and said, well, I can read the screen. I can see this. This is large enough. This is not large enough. Or, so then they could very quickly go right back to the drawing board, to the engineers, and make those changes literally, right then and there, before they bring it out to the public, for full-blown testing. And that's what we need to be. That's you're absolutely right. That's what founders, be you in the startup phase and especially you in the growth or expansion stage, you need to treat your micro communities as focus groups. Let them become the authority for you, and you could literally create, several different groups, and they can actually be created for a particular topic or a particular product or a particular service that you offer, and that's what they speak on. And let those people who are experts in those particular areas, that's going to draw and attract them, because people love to come and speak their expertise. They love to put that on there. Everybody's talking. Okay, so now, think about it like this, businesses. You got free research. These people
Absolutely.
love to talk. They will tell you, this works, this doesn't work. I like this color is not good, this color is better. They will tell you, things that you probably didn't even ask. They will tell you. But it's not going to cost you anything but the time it takes to, set up a group. Just set up a group chat. And we're going to be talking about, some of the different places and, going deeper into that, where these types of micro communities would be very good for you to kind of, bring them out of them and bring them into your everyday world.
Absolutely. That is an excellent point, Yvonne. And that's probably one of the best uses of the micro community. One, to understand what people see when they see your product, and then two, to understand what types of conversations, and that's something that we'll get into a little bit later today, is the types of conversations that people are having around your product, and how to be able to take those conversations and turn them into customer journeys and be able to move on and so forth. But the biggest thing that you can do, the best thing that you can do with a micro community is really, one, add value, and then two, get feedback on your products and your services, and that's unbiased feedback. So I know if I add Auntie Lulabelle and Uncle Ray Jr., I'm not certain what they're going to tell me about my SaaS product that I'm offering to millennial founders that are starting up companies. So I don't know how they'll be able to help me in evaluating my enterprise software. So when you're thinking about your group and the best use of your group, think about the best candidates for the group. Not to say that we're excluding anyone, but we want to make sure that we include the right people. And that kind of takes us into our next topic, Yvonne, if you want to start that next topic.
Okay. Well, great. And I just one more thing on just tagging on with what you said. Your focus groups that your micro communities that you create, think of them as a focus group, meaning you want that group that can focus on your target market. So you're kind of, in a way, you're setting it up and you're directing them, and you're bringing people in that you would ultimately sell this product and service to, and then a couple people who may not buy the product or what have you, but that'll be shown as they go through and they look at the different things, or they evaluate it, or just give their opinions, and then it will make it very easy for you to kind of restructure who it is. So how are we going to, let's look at some of the other ways. Now, our trend number 2 that we are seeing in the social media platforms, and that's short form videos. And I'm pretty sure that we thought that we just had saw it all. We had seen everything that we could in short videos. Well, guess what? Short videos, this is how they are evolving. And it's a good thing for businesses, because when the short videos, first kind of came out from MySpace, and that evolved into Facebook, what have you, and then a couple other social media platforms that kind of went by the wayside, we were looking at kittens and puppies, and we were looking at things like that, ocean views. So we really, it really wasn't something that businesses thought they would ever get into. But now what we're looking at is, Snapchat came on, and a lot of businesses did get on to Snapchat, and they thought, oh, wow, this actually worked. People, I got a lot of likes. I've got, some inquiries, from this. And so therefore, that's what mushroomed that whole trend to come in with these short form videos, because what they found was people were looking for information, and they could take information in short bits and bytes, because it's when you have, it's like going into a library. Well, when you first walk into the library, you can't stand there and look at every book and read every book that's in there. But, that's literally, and when you take that and you multiply that times a million or a billion, you're talking about the internet.
Wow.
You cannot take that all in at one time, even on any subject matter. It is so, you go and do a Google search, you're going to get the first 10 or 20, and then you see there's probably 12 more pages, coming, and then 100 more pages. So when you give people things in bits and bytes, it's easier for them to really ingest it and take that in, remember it, save it, and come back to it. So what else is here to stay? TikTok. TikTok came on the scene and just took over. I mean, they came on the scene and people were like, what is TikTok? I have to get on. And we had business owners ask us, do I have to get on TikTok? Well, when it first came out, we probably would have said, no, you don't necessarily have to. Now, today, 2021, yes, you do. You got to be on there. And you got to have something, that's really going to sell, that's really going to sell quickly. And when you think about a lot of these short form videos, I'm going to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper, and tell you some usage for it. But the first thing I want you to think about is this: branding. If you just think about, they keep seeing your brand, your name, your products, your services. That's all they need to see. If you can just do a simple short video and it just showcases your brand, your services, a few words, that's it. You're out. You're in, you're out. Because what you're really trying to do is just simply put you on their mind. That's what you want to do. So you want to keep, hitting them again and again.
Perfect.
What's some of the things that, like with Instagram, Instagram responded, because when TikTok came on the market, it came in just such a big way, because it hit Gen X. And the Gen, that generation, when it hit that generation, the Gen Zs, when it hit that generation, it just, it just grew into a 10x mushroom crowd. And so therefore, Instagram had to respond, because they were the only type of short video format that was out there at that time. And so what they did was, instead of just being, show your pictures, show these types of things, they had to come in and start offering reels, offering where you could do movies, where you could do these short little videos on it, add music, add special effects. They had to be able to do that, and they responded. And that didn't leave Twitter. Twitter and LinkedIn, they didn't get left behind in all of this. What they have now, Twitter fleets. Now with Twitter fleets, you can go up to, guess what? 140 seconds. Now that's very good, because 140 characters is really hard, because you have to figure out, what am I going to write? What am I going to say? But a short video, when you think about short videos, you think about your short commercials, that's 30 seconds. And then a long commercial is 60 seconds. Now you've got 140 seconds. So that's over twice as much time as a standard commercial might be. So now you got that, and you can put that out on Twitter. LinkedIn Stories. LinkedIn Stories is gradually rolling this out and using short videos, personal branding, business branding. You can use it for all those different things. So you really want to look at, how can I put my brand out there? How can I put my information out there? And Twitter is still, coming in real big, because you can put even longer videos out there. So we'll get into a lot more things. But what we're expecting to see is more social media platforms are going to be rolling out video, and you're going to have what you can pretty well expect to see come online here within the near future. By the end of 2021, you will probably see a social media platform emerge that is strictly videos. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think that that video is certainly not only is here to stay. I think it's going to get better and better and better. And I think that companies now, especially startup companies, they're really looking, just doing exactly what you said, Yvonne. They're looking at this as a viable strategy. And one of the strategies that they utilize is that they'll get some type of an influencer to say, hey guys, had a funny video, just saw this funny video, with this crazy product, check it out. And, that now gets on the page of an influencer that may have 5 million fans or 6 million fans. Well, your video then gets, 1 million views. So you just got 1 million people to take a look at your video. Now, if the video was targeted, if it reached the right audience, then you may be able to get sales growth from that particular video. So that strategy, Yvonne, absolutely. As we continue to go on, the strategy of people utilizing these videos is going to get better and better and more enhanced. I think again, Facebook, Instagram, and one thing about Facebook and Instagram is that they're always quick to notice some of the faster moving trends that are out there. And that's something that we want to be apprised of as business owners as well, is that are we paying attention to those fast moving trends in that TikTok video, that funny little video that people have? I'll give you a perfect example of one before we go to break. A perfect example of one would be there's a TikTok video of what happens when the FedEx guy comes to your door, and then what happens when UPS comes to your door, and then what happens when Amazon comes to your door. And it shows the UPS guy coming, and he throws the package at the door. He kind of kicks the plant over, and then FedEx guy. It's so funny. The Amazon guy comes, he lays it down neatly, he sweeps the car, he sweeps the porch and does all that, and then the FedEx guy, he not only does he throw the package, he throws the package, he rips it up, kicks in the front door, goes and gets a cup of water, and it's hilarious. And so what I told one of the founders, that they were doing the delivery service, and I told them, I said, well, listen, you can utilize this to say, hey, this is what you don't want for your delivery service, and so it works. That funny little video, and if you just imagine if you had that funny little video going out there, you're getting now more attention for your product or service. And that's going to be it before we head to break. We see the lights blinking, and we'll be back shortly.
Okay. Well, thank you. We'll see you back after the...
Your medical PPE supplier. Talk to our in-country distributors and get your PPE needs fulfilled. Sign up for recurring shipping to receive deep discounts and keep PPE inventory on hand at all times. We heard your requests and placed strategically located warehouses throughout countries near shipping ports to assure Mobamed PPE supplies are available when you need them.
Welcome back to FYNB Talks, Financing Your Next Billion. I'm your co-host, Sherelle Curry, with Yvonne Gamble, and we are talking about social media trends today. So the next trend we want to talk about, trend number 3, this is something that I think is going to be an absolute game changer. And it's diving a bit further into what social media really is. And it really is having a deeper conversation with your customer. So what do I mean by having a deeper conversation. Well, we've all been on the exchange of some bad customer service where we were like, oh my goodness, customer service was awful. I mean, it was, you've been to some places where it's like, I probably wouldn't go back there again. And now there's technology out now, such as your Yelp and such as Google reviews. And now my wife and I, we live by Google reviews. As a matter of fact, we look at the reviews that a restaurant has, and if they've got a low score, there's a chance that we may not go to their restaurant based upon what some of the reviews are saying. Well, one of the things that we look at in those reviews is how is the company responding to the customer? Are they simply just looking at those bad reviews and going, doesn't matter. What we look for companies that have great reviews, but also for companies that have reviews that where the company is responding. And so some of the best responses that I've seen, and this goes along into why you're having a deeper conversation on social media, some of the best comments I've seen is that, hey, listen, you know what? That was not great service on our part. This is what we're going to do. My name is Susan. My name is Jane. My name is Jerome. I want you to call me directly, and we're going to take care of this matter for you right away. Wow. Talk about having a conversation, a deeper level conversation with a client. Talk about being able to turn a situation around for your product or for your service. How you can turn that negative situation into a positive situation by having a deeper conversation with that customer. And that's all made possible by social media. And one of the things that we're seeing now, especially with the social media ads, is that there's someone will post an ad and then someone will type, hey, this product or service didn't work for us. And then someone will, they will have someone basically responding on behalf of the company to say, listen, you know what? I want to make sure that you have a great experience. I'm going to personally take care of this. Here's our direct number. Let us help you as much as we can. And that says a lot. That helps your reputation. And that's something that I want you to forever link in your mind. The conversations that are being had on social media about your company and the conversations that are being had about your product and about your services, that is going to equal in this stage, as much as it's going to be maybe about 60 to 80% of what your reputation looks like. Even though you may have great customer service, even though you may have great products, if the reputation, if the things that people are saying online aren't addressed, aren't looked at, aren't viewed, then what's going to simply happen is that the reputation that you have online is going to be the actual reputation that you have. That's why those conversations are so important to be a part of as a part of your social media strategy. Anything you want to say along those lines, Yvonne?
Well, I just wanted to kind of touch on the fact of how to have those conversations. Because most certainly, if you're a company and you're looking to host, somewhere in the thousands and tens of thousands, clientele, you're obviously not going to be able to have, those direct individual conversations with clients. And some of the things that you can look at putting into place would be those RCSs. And that's that rich communication services, which comes in the form of push notifications, notifying, clients about different changes, different things that are going on, or if a certain event happens, if a client, selects something or makes maybe a bad review, then a notification will go down, based on if it's 1 through 5 and they're giving you a number 1, poor service or what have you, or 5, good service. And then you'll get a different notification based on, what your selection may have been. And that can also be accomplished with voice activated assistants and obviously chatbots. Chatbots are not just simply giving back, one word answers or one word replies. Now they are doing a much more deeper, much more what we call an AI intelligent search on what words you have put in, or what words that your clients, may be putting in when they're looking for, different types of things or looking for responses. And they're very good because also the chat bots and these different types of RCS communication services can help you to say mitigate the number of people that you might need at the who are working your help desk, where they can see this information coming in, they can see the responses, and there's already been some exchange and information. They can read that, and then they basically, instead of being, say, a level 1 help, they could be a level 2 or 3 help, with the person, because they already know, what the person's concern, might be, and they can then, follow on and follow up with that customer accordingly.
Perfect.
And that moves us into
perfect.
Jerome's other piece of what he was talking about, and he's going to come back and tell you about, analyzing the customer's journey, the different things that they have.
Absolutely. So when we're looking at analyzing the customer's journey, we're just looking at all of the different touch points that you may have via social media for your clients. It talks. We talked about those micro communities. We talked about some of the reactions that you may be getting to your videos. We talked about some of the things that you may be getting feedback on as a part of the communities that your team is a part of. So there are a lot of different data points that you can gather to help and assist in analyzing your customer story. One of the things that I would tell you as well is that as you're analyzing these touch points, certainly look for just some of the what we call divergences. So some of the things of things aren't going the way that they need to. So that's a good sign. That's a sign that, maybe we need to change some things. Maybe we need to adjust some things. We keep hearing the same complaint over and over again on these different touch points. Well, that's something that we obviously have to address. So certainly as you start to look through these different options and solutions, definitely go ahead and be willing to adjust your strategy as things come up. And the way that you adjust your strategy is not just that one complaint from that one customer that was upset. It's the overriding viewpoint that you're hearing on multiple touch points that makes you stand up and say, wait a minute, there's something that we have to be able to do differently. And I'll tell you, a lot of election campaigns are utilizing these types of data. I know for a fact that a lot of that data was utilized in the previous elections. Businesses around the world are using these different data points and touch points to know and get a pulse for where the customer's thinking is, where the customer's thoughts are. So again, utilizing those data points to create or even shift the conversation will be very important. And if Yvonne, did you have anything that you want to add about shifting those data points before you talk about some of these new formats that are coming out?
Well, I think that's an excellent segue into, because those data points, what they actually do in this big data. If you remember back a few years ago, we were collecting big data. We were creating all the big data repositories. So now we are here. And so then what does it give us? What you're seeing now is the resulting of that. Big data we collected, all the different data points that you have, all the different targets. And what we are looking at is the high emergence of these new shoppable formats. And what I'm going to kind of talk about here is just that, where these shoppable formats, they're coming in the format of posts that you can put on. And basically what it does is strengthens the role of the business, because they basically have had to pivot online. Some of them exclusively had to go online exclusively, and some are now coming online and actually seeing how it is helping them to build their brand and to build that brand stronger. And having those data points makes all the difference in the world, when they're doing that. So if you take a look at like Facebook Live shopping, what it does is it combines videos, you got shoppable features, and you can showcase the products. But what's most important, the clients can immediately buy the product. If you can immediately buy the product, you can also do what? You can immediately give an impression of the product. What was the buying experience like? Generally, that's what comes up after you go through, you put your information in, and then you may get a chat box come back to your, or a little survey may come, after you've delivered everything to your email and ask you what was your shopping experience like. That's a data point that's being collected. And that's going to be one of the mega trends in 2021. You're going to see that more and more, that tighter connection between social media and e-commerce. Now, it's not just simply selling something online, but it's also selling and giving the experience online and then getting information back. So the client, the business owner gives you an experience, the business owner gives you a value, and then you as the client actually give something back. You receive something of value, and then you give your opinion back. And that data point is then helps, that's a research piece, and it helps the founder to be able, of that business owner, to be able to determine what clients like best, what's easiest to shop for, and what ways they can make that, more transparent for the actual client. Instagram have seen that these shopping points and having this where you can actually, these shoppable posts made it more robust, and actually it made it a go-to place for businesses, because businesses wanted to get their products, especially in 2020, they wanted to get their products in front of people. 2021, even more so. And especially now that not only did you have a lot of businesses had to go exclusively online, but a lot of new businesses have come online. Now that we're in the gig economy, basically a lot of your people are making their mainstay money, not just their side money, but their mainstay money, being able to have a business online. And so that means that in order to do that, you're reaching people through social media. That's how you're reaching those heavy numbers in the audiences. And then you want to basically, you don't want to just simply, reach them, inform them of here I am, and go back to my website, because then you lose a lot of people. You need to basically reach that person, give them inform them, and then give them the opportunity to buy it right then and there. And that's why you're going to see these become increasingly more and more as the wears on. So as one of the social media trends, we're expecting these two formats, where the shoppable media formats, to actually continue, and then continue to support, the seamless, e-commerce on social media. So that so you might want to be thinking about, how do I integrate my my website so that it has that social media look. And a lot of people are really coming into with their websites where they are doing away. They're having like a Facebook presence and then an Instagram presence, and they're not going to the traditional website. But so then what then will the purpose, I'll just give you, a little extra bonus here and say, okay, what's going to be the purpose of the website? Very quickly, the purpose of the website is going to be to inform and document. So that's going to be to inform the client about what your company does. That's your presence. That's almost taking the place of many companies' brick and mortar. So that website needs to have everything in it, so that if someone goes there, they can understand and know everything about your business and your more sales side. So that's going, that's like the tower, the regulatory, all that sort of information. But the actual selling of your products will be done more through e-commerce and social media in time to come.
No, absolutely. And that's so important. Yvonne, we covered a lot of ground here, and I think one of the biggest things that's going to be coming next is partnering. Uh, as you mentioned in the last part, they're looking at different ways to be able to do things differently, and that's what's going to be coming next. We see a lot of partnerships. Facebook is making some large partnerships. They bought out Instagram. They own Instagram. You've got they're looking at some things that they're looking at some different relationships. TikTok is partnering up with Spotify, Samsung. Reels are getting more popular, and Facebook and Instagram are already planning some type of Clubhouse type application or software. And so what does that mean? That means that everyone is getting together so that they can be better, because we're better together. And that's what you should look at as well for your strategies. How can you be better together, and what can you partner and offer? My name's Jerome Curry. This is FYNB Talks. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a fantastic day.
Financing your next $1 billion? Contact us to be a guest. Join us for the next show.